Hello everybody. Teaching children with special needs. Today under this we are going to deal with the topic modes of teaching the special children. The objective of this lesson is to understand the different modes of teaching the special child. Each child is unique and there is a wide spectrum of special educational needs, although there are specific needs that usually relate to directly that particular type of impairment. The children with special educational needs and disabilities have needs and requirements which may fall into at least one of the four areas in cognition and learning, the behavior, emotional and social development, the communication and interaction process, the sensory or physical development. Many children have interrelated needs. For example, a child with general learning difficulty may also have a sensory impairment. A disabled child, however, does not necessarily need to have the special educational needs. The large group of people who may count as disabled under the Disability Act but do not necessarily have the special educational needs. They are those with that particular medical condition. Now we will see the cognition and learning. The children may demonstrate features of moderate, severe or profound learning difficulties or specific learning difficulties like dyslexia. Some may have associated with sensory, physical and behavioral difficulties that compound their need. Some children may be on the autistic spectrum. The children who have these needs require specific strategies to help their learning and understanding. These may include strategies to support the development of language, literacy and organizational skills, and practical sensory or the physical experiences to support the development of abstract ideas and concepts. The behavior, emotional and social development. The children who have this behavior, emotional and social difficulties may be withdrawn or isolated or disruptive and disturbing, and sometimes they may also be very hyperactive. They may lack concentration and have immature social skill. The challenging behavior may arise from other complexes of special needs. The children who have these needs may require the structured learning environment with the clear boundaries for each activity. They may need the extra space to move around and to ensure the comfortable distance between themselves and others. They may take the extreme risk or have the outbursts and need a safe place to calm down themselves. The behaviorism or the behavior supports or the counseling may take place in quite supportive environments. So, this is an introduction to the child with special needs who may be requiring different help or support in a classroom. Now, let us see the problems or the modes of educating this special child with special educational needs. What is special education? Special education is a specialized area of education which uses unique instructional methods, materials, learning aids and equipment to meet the educational needs of the child with disabilities. Now we will see the examples of various special needs children they can have, as well as the essential elements that help these children with special needs to learn to spell without confusion and frustration. What are those approaches? Let us see. The first one is the direct instruction. The children with special needs require explicit lessons. They should not be given something to guess or struggle alone to figure out, for example, the spelling patterns. The next one is the incremental lessons. Children with special needs require incremental sequential lessons that begins with the basic spelling skills. The lessons in all about the spelling program can carry the students gradually from one concept or skill to the next, with each step building upon the skills the students has already mastered. The lessons are presented in a logical order to lessen the frustration and enhance the sense of accomplishment. Then the next one is the multi-sensory activities. Spelling is a visual skill, but learning well involves all our senses. We need to see, hear and touch to truly absorb and master a new skill. Visual learners like to see what they are learning. Auditory learners, they prefer to hear oral instructions and then discuss what they have learned to solidify the material. Hands-on learning, they observe the knowledge best when they can touch and manipulate the objects. Since most of the children favor one sense over the other senses, the multi-sensory program enhances learning by adding depth to the lessons and encouraging the students to develop all their senses, which in turn leads to developing a stronger skills in the children. Regardless of which sense a child favors, all children need a spelling programs that can be adapted to their preferred learning style, whether it be the visual or auditory or tactile method. Every lessons in all about spellings include multi-sensory activities that reinforce the concept being taught. Then the next one is the phonogram instruction. In phonogram instruction, the spellings properly involves the knowledge of spelling rules, phonograms, and neglecting to teach the phonograms only short changes the spelling students learn. In this all about spelling, it teaches the basic phonograms based on the Orton-Gillingham approach to teach the spellings. This approach consistently proven to be the best method for mastering the spelling of the vast majority of the English words. Then the spelling rules. There is a pattern and a logic to English language, a few exceptions to the rules. Teaching the rules governing the majority of words can help make the exceptions clear and easy to learn. Then the next one is the continual review. Everyone needs to remember what they have learned, and continual review provides the long-term benefits to all the students, no matter what their learning needs might be. Helping the children remember the concepts through continual review of previously learned rules and words, even the basic ones. The continual review permanently ingrains the instructions to the children's brain, and it only takes 2 minutes of review per day to make that happen. Then the next one is the dictation exercise. Once a child has learned to write and spell the basic words, dictating phrases or sentences promote better spellings in practical situations. Although it is common for the children to spell words correctly during the spelling lessons, it is equally common for the students to misspell the same words when they encounter them outside the lesson time. The dictation exercises in all about spellings gives the students the opportunity to use and practice their new knowledge. Then the next one is easy to follow lessons. The all about spelling method is easy to follow with clear lesson plans that lets the instructor focus on the student instead of figuring out the next step in the lesson. This all about spelling building block approach uses the progressive sequential lesson plan to create a strong foundation of essential skills. Each level in the program builds upon the former in a logical sequence that helps the child achieve the spelling success. The first approach is the individual approach. An attempt is to be taken at individual level when we are dealing with the problem of the children with special needs. It is said that disability as an individual problem, their needs, demands, etc. to be taken care of only by the parents. But in this approach, it does not consider as a responsibility of the society and community as a whole. This is considered to be a traditional approach to handle children with special needs. The intervention related to it is quite individualistic in nature. The next one is the charity approach. This approach sees disability as a personal tragedy and a form of an individual perspective. The disabled children are passive, inert and dysfunctioning. It emphasizes the care and extreme isolation and marginalization for children with special needs. A large number of mental health institutions are being managed and administered on the custodial model of care in our country. It functions like the detention centers where personnel with mental illness were chained sometimes. Then the next one is the biocentric approach. Children with special needs were treated as a medical or genetic condition. This approach aims at attending the normalization through medical treatment. Biology helps in determining the program, eligibility, entitlement, the benefits, access to right and the full social participation. Then the next approach is the functional approach. This provides a clue for the extent up to which a person is perceived to be independent enough to exercise his or her right. The child's right to education depends on whether he or she can access the school and participate in the classroom rather than the obligation of the school system to be accessible to differently abled children. Then the next approach is human right approach. This aspect considers differently abled as integral part of the human culture. The various dimensions of this approach are the special education, integrated education and inclusive education. The next approach is the administrative approach. It aims at rehabilitating the differently abled in all spheres of life and focusing on getting the disabled persons the right kind of treatment, care and rehabilitation. This approach is integration of the biocentric and social approach. This approach tries to normalize the differently able as much as possible. Then the next one is the social approach. This approach views the impairment of differently able as not a problem, but economic, political and social structure of the society which impedes or hinders the individual or the problem. It is the external environment that should be modified to meet the needs of the differently abled individuals or children. It can be said that the social approach of disabled is culmination of the social, political and legal structure of the society. Then the integrated education for the disabled, IED. Under the Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, the IED program has been started. The Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan is a mission initiated by the Union government to provide quality elementary education to all children belonging to the age group of 6 to 14 years by 2010. One of the important aspects of SSA is to identification, enrollment and retention of the children from all categories of the society and focus on the elementary education or at a satisfactory quality with emphasis on education for life. The Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan also focuses to ensure that every differently abled child, irrespective of the kind, the category, the degree of disability, is provided with quality education in an appropriate environment. Then, after knowing the different approaches, let us now move on to see the strategies for teaching the inclusive education. The first one is the team teaching. And education of children with special needs is an area which has foundations in many disciplines. You may have to seek the help of the other teachers, the other specialists, the professionals like the physiotherapist, the occupational therapist, the speech therapist, the social worker, so that or the in-service training curriculum is transacted in totality properly to the trainees. Hence, at times when you have to teach as a team teaching approach in which two or more teachers join together, they plan together, they teach together and evaluate together. As an educator, you have to work out in depth in which the therapists and doctors gives their input and how they can be related to education and behavior of the child in the school. In inclusive schools, the regular education teacher and the special education teacher also work together in providing services to the children with special needs in the classroom. In inclusive education, meeting the special education needs of the children is a joint responsibility of the regular teacher and the special education teacher and other professionals. For team teaching, you have also to plan jointly with other teaching and evaluating a particular topic or a particular subject depending upon your own expertise and experience. The next one is the peer tutoring. Peer tutoring, it involves one-to-one instruction from a student to another in tutoring role and the tutee who receives the instruction. The peer tutoring meets the individual needs of the child with disabilities by providing remedial or supportive instruction. The steps involved in peer tutoring are: the first one is making an assessment of the pupil's performance in the class and then preparing a profile of the tutee's performance in all areas of development. Then the next step is identifying the strengths of the pupil in the class and to select the peer tutors. And then next step is match the tutor and the tutee. The tutor should be good in subject and should have the skills to transact what the tutee with locomotor disability has to learn, and then develop an adopted instructional material in advance for the use by the peer tutor. For example, the communication board may have to be prepared for a child with cerebral palsy with communication problems. And then the next one is organizing a short training for the tutors so that they can carry out the tutoring effectively for the children with special needs. Then the next approach is the cooperative learning. Cooperative learning is the strategy used by a group or a number of students to achieve a common goal with mutual collaboration and support. In an inclusive classroom where a large number of children with and without disabilities have been enrolled, the children can be taught with the help of the cooperative learning in which they have one common goal. If a child with special needs is to be taught, he or she should be placed with the children who have the sensitivity and the skill to deal with children with special needs. All the students in the class may have been oriented and prepared to work with the children having locomotor or any other disability. They need to be told about the difficulties the child faces, in what ways they can be of helpful to the child with disabilities. Grouping should be such that they can help each other and learn, and they work together to seek solutions to problems and to complete an assignment. It is opposed to existing system of education in the regular classroom where the children are forced to compete against one another. The educational system encourages the children to learn cooperatively through joint ventures. It is particularly suited to children with special needs as they may feel insecure in a competitive setting. Then, after having understood the different strategies, let us now move on to see the language experience approach. The language experience approach integrates the development of reading skills with the development of listening, speaking and writing skills. What the child is thinking and talking about would make a material for developing the lesson. The language experience approach, it deals with the thinking process, what the child thinks about and what he can talk about, what a child says or he can write. For example, someone can write for him, and what a child writes and he can read. Many children with locomotor disabilities may talk like any other normal child in the class. Child with visual impairment, polio, muscular dystrophy or some type of spina bifida, they are somewhat different from the children with hearing impairment, mental retardation, cerebral palsy. They show differences in the way they are thinking, in talking or in communication. In such cases, the teacher will have to make a special effort to see that he or she talks about the experiences in the child's world, or she should try to give the experience to the child before discussing it. Then next is the multisensory approach. The multisensory approach is based on the premise that for some children, learning is facilitated if the content is presented through several modalities. Kinesthetic and tactile stimulation are used along with the visual and auditory modalities. This approach can be like this: see the word, hear the teacher say the word, say the word, hear themselves as they say the word, feel the muscle movement as they say, feel the tactile surface water on their fingertips, see the hands move as they trace, and hear themselves as they say it. This approach may be more useful in case of the children with multiple disabilities, as they need repetition through different modalities for reinforcement. Modifying the material and activities. For example, teaching social studies may involve different instructional practices. Within the classroom setting, the teacher can employ the discussions, demonstrations, learning centers and other integrating techniques involve the stimulation activities, role playing or dramatic improvisation. Some additional techniques that teacher can utilize to enhance the student performance are presented according to the instructional methodology. Let us see what are they. The textual material, preparing the study or reading guides, vocabulary exercises, rewrite materials, preview reading selections, have the students to do something special after they read the selections using a language experience approach. Then the next one is the lecture. Using advanced organizers, check note taking skills followed by prepared outlines and frame outlines. Then next one is the inquiry approach. It emphasizes the cooperative learning, provided some teacher directed learning. Outside the classroom, the field trips to the museums, the historical sites, the community locations can be engaging to the child. The local neighborhood can serve as a plentiful and primary source of information. Now, let us see what are the additional support required for a special child in a regular classroom. The first one is the learning support. The extra learning support can be provided by reducing the numbers in the class, or by having the specific grouping or setting within the class, or by working separately in small groups or one-to-one with extra staff. The next support is the behavior support. For some children, this is about learning to communicate and develop social skills. For others, it means support or counseling in a separate quiet space that has a balance between the privacy and visibility or supervision. The next support that can be given to the special child is learning aids. The ICT, that is the information communication technology, and special furniture or fittings or equipments. A variety of learning tools and teaching resources, the computers and access technologies, the specialist aid equipment can be used for which the children needs a particular fittings and equipment such as the height adjustable workstations, etc. Then the next type of support that can be provided to the child with special needs is therapy. Therapies such as the speech and language therapy, the physiotherapy, the hydrotherapy can be used particularly in schools where the special children are accommodated. Drama, art, music, movement can also be used as therapy in addition to providing the mainstream curriculum. Then the multisensory stimulation. Multisensory interactive work using the communication, the language techniques, the tactile and practical tasks, the music and movement, the special information communication technology can be used as a resource. Then the next one is the personal support and care. Children with complex health needs may have the medical, health care and social support from specialist support staff. The designs need to ensure that they can be treated with dignity and respect and enable support from their family and caregivers. So, this is the additional support that can be given to the child with special needs. So, today we have seen the modes of teaching the special child in a regular classroom. The special education teacher help to develop an individualized education program for each special education student. The IEP, the individualized education program, sets the personalized goals for each student and is tailored to the student's individual needs and abilities. The teachers work closely with the parents to inform them on their child progress and suggest techniques to promote learning at home. They can also be involved in the students' behavioral, social and academic development, helping the students to develop emotionally, also feel comfortable in social situations and be aware of the socially acceptable behavior. Special education teachers communicate and work together with the parents, social workers, school psychologists, speech therapists, occupational therapists, physical therapists and the school administrators and other teachers. So, today we have learnt about the teaching child with special needs in a regular classroom with the help of other specialists in the area and the special educator teaching together with the regular classroom teachers. Hope you have understood the lesson. Thank you.